Hey folks, welcome back to Only the Best Fantasy Novels. My name is Robin, and today I want to talk about The Heart of What Was Lost, which is a novella following the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy by Tad Williams. Um, I honestly tend to skip the side stories outside of a series, but I saw a video a while back with Jimmy where he mentioned that this is essential to the to understanding the both Memories of Thorn and the Last King of Ostenard series. So I figured for once I'd actually pick up the novella. And interestingly enough, it's kind of a very different beast from the Memories of Thorn trilogy. Which kind of makes sense because I think this was written in and like not too long before the first Last King of Ostenard book. So it would have been like easily 15, 20 years after the Memory Star and Thorn trilogy ended. So there's that for context. But yeah, this kind of follows the events after the end of the Green Angel Tower. If you haven't read the trilogy as yet, beware of spoilers. But essentially, what happens here is that the climatic battle between Inuluki and the forces of good is over, um, and the Norns are fleeing back to their holdings. Duke Isgrimnor is selected to go after them and essentially eradicate them, um, so that the threat of the Norns is ended once and for all. Um, as far as Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn books go, this one is practically a drop in the bucket at a mere measly 200 pages compared to the main series. But honestly, it could potentially be one of like my favorite book of the entire thing. It doesn't suffer from a lot of the slowness and a lot of the bloat of the series. Everything that's included in here, it it serves a purpose. It has a very you can see what it contributes to the story as a whole. It may feel like filler, it may feel like fluff, depending on your taste, but there's no arguing what it contributes to the story as a whole. Um, we actually get given this is a novella, we actually get a fairly complex tale. We get a deep insight into like the Norn history, society, and culture, as is often the case in these books. Tad Williams takes his time to just flesh everything out. By the end of it, you know everything you need to know about these people. Um, but interestingly enough, this book it sheds new light the on the Norns, who we saw as a force within the Memory Sword and Thorn. It kind of sheds new light on their motivations and also on how they're dealing with the consequences of the war and the drastic cultural changes that may be coming as a result of this. Um, it for like one of the things I think I mentioned um, in my thoughts on Green Angel Tower is that I liked that the bad guys in this series, like their motivations and um their motivations and their entire like impetus for doing what they do, it was complex. It wasn't like they're evil for the sake of evil. They did have very solid, very relatable reasons, very understandable reasons for why they did what they did, and we see that very much in this novella. When we see the parts involving the Norns. Um, it helps that in this novella one of the POVs that we get is a member of the Norn society. The other we have two other main POVs. The other one is Duke is Grimnor, and in his case we kind of see the fallout of the war on the side of Prince Joshua's um, force, and we see both his personal costs because he lost um, he lost a significant person to him in the ending, and we see that the way he's kind of dealing with that as a result. And then we have another character. Like as much as I see what he contributed to the story, I didn't care much for him, so I'm not even gonna mention him. You can read and find out, I guess. So to answer the burning question, which is what Jimmy mentioned, that like, is it really necessary to read this novella? Honestly, after now that I finished reading it, I'm not sure. Like we got a kind of a we got a like an additional extension of the conclusion to Green Angel Tower. Shockingly, somehow, even though Tad had that absolutely ridiculous page count in that book, it seems he still didn't tell all the story that he could have told, just from the mere existence of this novella. And yeah, like I also like that one of the aspects of this book is that we can, like I said, I think I touched on this, but we get to look at the motivations of the Norns. Okay, I'm gonna edit that out. I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I was saying, is it necessary to read this? Honestly, I don't know. Now that I've read it, I honestly don't know. I guess I'll find out when I eventually get to the last King of Ostenard. I initially intended to read it after finishing my Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, but honestly, after reading these books, I need a break. I need a shift of gears. So I'm not gonna be picking up that series. I wanted to finish reading it in time for when the final book in the series is coming out, but that can wait. That's fine. No rush there. But yeah, what did I think of this novella overall? It's great. Like I said, we got additional fascinating context to the ending, and to one of the major forces of the series. Is it worth the read? If you're a fan of the series, absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.